You're listening to the Arena Sports Network, the Quad County Experience, where every fan has a voice and every team has a fan.
You can't handle the truth.
When you put cameras right in our face, we really don't know what to say.
Oh, I'm supposed to say something?
I ain't got nothing to say.
Don't talk to me today.
Be smart what you say.
You want me to say something?
I got the mic there.
I got nothing funny to say.
I don't either.
I'm not Brett Favre.
Sorry to let them down.
Yeah.
Let's go, guys. It's a game. It's a game out here I want to play in.
Someday with experience, we'll have something funny to say.
Pull out your recorders and cover your children's eyes. You're about to enter the afternoon locker room. And here we go inside the afternoon locker room with your host, Brian Snow.
This, my friends, is going to be the express version of the afternoon locker room. And we welcome you on this final day of June. We welcome you to Chicago South Side. I teased all last week that we'd be originating our programming from Indiana. However, we ran into a glitch. Then we had to stop here on the South Side, take care of business with this because we didn't do a morning show. So we're going to take care of this. This is going to be the express version of the afternoon locker room. I have Michael Lyle standing by to join me if he is able. Man, he's busier than me. That's saying something. He's busier than me. So we're going to try to get him on the line right now for the live files. And then I have a very special guest by the name of Mike Green. And he's going to join me and talk some hockey as well. But first, NBA free agency has started, and who is surprised that all three of the big three have opted out of their contract with the Miami Heat? I am not surprised at all. And the reason I'm not surprised is because y'all had to have seen this coming. Y'all had to have seen this coming. Because there was no way all three were not going to at least attempt to test the free agency waters. And that's what they are all doing. That's what they are doing. As mentioned, we are here on the south side of Chicago, and this is going to be an express edition of the afternoon locker room because we were supposed to be in Indiana right now. Unfortunately, we ran into a problem in our home studio in Glenview, so we got a late start, and I blame myself for this because a couple of projects had come up in coordination with this tournament that we're going to be doing, and time got away from us, and also we had an equipment issue which got solved, and the issue just got solved, and we are on live right now. As mentioned, we're waiting for Mike Lyle to check in with us. I got Mike Green on the way. In fact, we're going to pause for a break really fast, and we're going to get Mike Green on the line right now. We're going to go inside the green room. We're improvising as we go, but this is going to be a short edition because of the tournament, and we're scheduled to go at 5 with our first pitch. So let me pause for a half a minute, and when we come back, we will go inside the green room and talk a lot of hockey for the next half hour. This is the Afternoon Locker Room, the Express Edition on the Arena Sports Network.
It began as a promise. Son, we're going on a road trip. That promise has lasted over 30 years. Our dream is to visit every national park in America. It's been thousands of miles, countless bumps along the way, but we'll just keep moving on, pursuing this amazing dream.
Visit DrassichAgency.com or call 219-945-3040 and ask Joel Drassich how you can get all of your insurance under one roof.
At Gaucho's Brazilian Steakhouse, guests are immersed in a heritage started long ago in the Rio Grande do Sul region of Brazil. Amid the relaxing, intimate atmosphere, Gauchos roam from table to table with skewers of slow-roasted meats that are cooked over an open mesquite flame. These delicacies are served tableside, creating a bountiful feast and a unique dining experience. We feature an all-you-care-to-eat selection of 12 grilled meats that include top sirloin, picanha, chicken parmesan, chicken wrapped in bacon, pork tenderloin, pork parmesan, filet wrapped in bacon, Brazilian beef tender, turkey, lamb, and the chef's choice. With traditional flair, the Gauchos slice portions from skewers of our feasts of meats. For that extra special dining experience, Gauchos also offers a nightly seafood feast that includes crab legs, fried shrimp, sauteed shrimp, perch, tilapia, and the catch of the day. As is customary, guests can have as little or as much as they want. There's no need to drive to Chicago to find a restaurant with authentic other country flair. We're located on the historic Lincoln Highway in beautiful Valparaiso, Indiana, just minutes from I-65, I-80, and many major state roads. Gaucho's is open daily for dinner at 4 p.m. and for lunch on Saturday and Sunday at 11 a.m. For reservations, call 219-759-1100. That's 219-759-1100. Gaucho's Brazilian Steakhouse of Valparaiso. Have you had the Gaucho's experience? Have you heard the good news about a company that started 4 years ago and worked at a relentless pace based entirely upon one simple premise? Have you heard the good news about a place you can go to enjoy positive, community-oriented information about the town, city, or region that you live in and the people involved? At Life.com, you can go to a place to enjoy positive, community-oriented information about the town, city, or region that you live in and the people involved. Want to see more? Want to read more? Want to hear more? Then go to LaPorteCountyLife.com. Have you heard the good news?
I represent the Excelsior Appliance and Appurtenance Company Incorporated with a complete line of household appliances and is the lady of the house in? What?
Testing. 1, 2. Oh, sorry. You're listening to the Afternoon Locker Room on the Arena Sports Network. Is this thing on? Let's talk some hockey, and let's go inside to the green room on this express edition of the Afternoon Locker Room. Half hour to 45 today because we're getting ready for a baseball tournament. I've been wanting to get this guy on for a year, but our schedules could never match up, and I had some problems coming in, but I do have him on the line right now. Let's go inside the green room with Mike Green. How you doing, Mike?
Good. How are you doing?
I'm doing well, my friend. Good to finally get you on.
Yeah, it's great to be on. Nothing says hockey like a 90-degree day in Ohio, buddy.
If I'm correct, you're in Columbus, are you not?
That's correct, but I am a lifelong Chicagoan, and I'll be going back someday.
That's good. When you come back to the Chi, you're strapping a headset on with me, and we're doing a live show. We're going to pick a spot, and we're going to do a live show from there, and it's going to be an hour of greatness. That is all I'm going to say.
Yeah, that'll be a lot of fun.
All right. The NHL draft took place this past weekend. This is the gentleman I told you guys about that will be taking a lot of notes for me, including our Chicago Blackhawks. And I'm just going to give him the floor right now. I'll throw him some questions, and he's going to answer them for me. And I hate to put this phrase in front of the team that I'm going to start with, but I have to start with them. They are the defending Stanley Cup champions as of right now, the Los Angeles Kings. Peek at their draft, Mike, and tell me what you saw.
Well, they had 10 selections, and they beefed up even more with even more size. And their cap situation is pretty good, where they're going to remain strong for a long time. The Western Conference is going to be between the Hawks and the Kings for the next several years. They had an outstanding draft.
So taking a peek, where did they tell me a couple of positions where they beefed up the most, or where you thought that a need would be for the Kings.
Well, what they need is they need a little more speed up front. One thing that they had trouble with the Hawks in the conference finals was speed, but they drafted some speedy forwards that they hope will make their club in a couple of years. Now, the Kings are pretty set roster-wise, so being the Stanley Cup champions, they don't have any real pressing needs. So they did a really nice job. They're going to be strong for many years to come. They're going to be the team we're going to have to beat to get back to where we want to get to.
Let's take a look at this, what's becoming a budding rivalry now, because the last 2 years, the Blackhawks and the Kings have played each other for the Western Conference Championship, the Clarence Campbell Bowl, if you will. What makes these two teams, the Hawks and the Kings, so strong and makes them tops ahead of everyone else in the West?
Well, they both have a lot of depth. They can roll four lines at you. Both teams have solid 3 pairs of 6 defensemen. Both have outstanding goalies. Both have outstanding coaches. And both organizations draft really well. It's just the depth of both organizations that stand out.
Were you surprised when these two teams went the full 7? I wasn't.
No, I wasn't at all. The only thing I was surprised is they were up 3-1 on us. I thought it'd be the other way around. But
I thought so too.
You go back and look at it. That was a heartbreaking way to lose Game 7 because we were basically one more goal away from winning another cup. But the Kings deserved it. And I knew they were going to steamroll the Rangers, and that's exactly what they did.
Yeah, I kind of knew that too, but their toughest series was against us, against the Chicago Blackhawks. And I can honestly tell you, not many people saw this coming, a 7-game war with the Blackhawks and the Kings. But I can tell you that the Hawks and the Kings are going to be hooking up for a long time, and I wouldn't be surprised if the next 2 or 3 years the West Finals involve these two teams.
That's very well possible because if you look at the West right now, the only 2 teams that I could see that can challenge the Hawks in L.A. would be Anaheim and St. Louis.
Right.
And St. Louis has got goaltending questions still. Anaheim made a nice trade though in getting Ryan Kessler, but Anaheim is sort of like San Jose. They got to show they can do it. They got to show me they can do it in the playoffs.
And Anaheim fell just as quickly as they rose in the standings very quickly, but then come playoff time, and this has been their identity since they won the cup in 2007. They fell just as quickly as they rose.
That's right. They had the Kings on the ropes in the second round, and they let them off the hook. But Anaheim and St. Louis will be the major. And maybe Colorado. Colorado is up and coming, but they may lose Paul Stastny to free agency. If they do, that's going to be a big blow to them.
What about the San Jose Sharks? How far have they fallen? And I'm asking this question to you, Mike, in terms of playoff performance only.
Well, they got a lot of guys that just don't show up in big games, like Patrick Marleau, Joe Thornton, and Joe Pavelski. These guys are regular season giants, but then come playoff time, as you saw in the first round against L.A., they're up 3-0, and then they pulled one of the biggest gag jobs in NHL history.
Right.
And they've done this a lot of years.
Mike Green.
So Doug Wilson, yes.
Go ahead, Mike. Finish your point.
Well, Doug Wilson, the GM of San Jose, he's looking to clean house. He's mentioned already over the weekend they're looking to rebuild, but they're going to have a hard time unloading some of those big contracts like Thornton and Marlowe. So we'll see what happens there.
Inside the Green Room with Mike Green as we talk a little hockey on this Express edition of the Afternoon Locker Room. And Mike joins me from Columbus, Ohio. We're here on the South Side, taking a little time out of the Fans' Day to give them a little hockey education. And, Mike, you always do something that I love, and that's count down the days till the puck drops. Let's take a peek at the Blackhawks season. One of their high points was probably the messiest game, and I'm speaking in terms of weather, you know where I'm going, that they played, and that was the game outdoors March 1st in the snow at Soldier Field. Everybody expected it to be a contest, and they absolutely blitzed Pittsburgh.
That's correct. That was a lot of. I love the outdoor games. In my opinion, they don't have enough of them. That's hockey's roots. Hockey's roots are on the pond outdoors. That's where I wish they would have more of these.
I absolutely agree. I absolutely agree. And I'm glad they started doing the stadium series. I'm glad they did it in the three largest markets, New York, Los Angeles, and Chicago, in order, where they did the entire stadium series. And I believe the Hawks have, if I'm correct, Mike, and I know you've kept your eye on this, I believe they have the Winter Classic again.
They have the what now?
The Winter Classic.
Yes, they do. This coming January 1st against Washington. A lot of people are upset about it, too.
Why are they upset about the Hawks hosting the
Chicago? Well, because this is the third Winter Classic game they've been in since 2009, and a lot of teams have not played in the Winter Classic.
Well, you got to ride the hot teams. You got to ride the hot teams. That's the bottom line. You got to ride the hot teams.
That's right. You know, the NHL is trying to sell itself. So how do you do that? Well, the Blackhawks are must-see TV. They're recognizable. They're full of stars.
Mm-hmm.
They got a large fan base across this country and Canada. Why wouldn't you have the Blackhawks?
Absolutely.
On your other than the Stanley Cup, your premier event.
Absolutely right. I mean, how can you not have the Blackhawks on a premier event like the Winter Classic? Of course, they hosted it in 2009. They participated in another one, and now they got this one coming up against Washington. They did the Stadium Series last year. So I applaud Gary Bettman for putting the Blackhawks in the Winter Classic. And as you said, Mike, a lot of teams are balking at this. And they're balking at this because, it's the Blackhawks appearing again. Hello, 2 cups in 4 years, nearly a third. You got 2 of the hottest players in the NHL in Taves and Kane. You got one of the hottest building teams. And also, Mike, and we've talked about this before we came on air, one of the youngest teams. So you're getting that young fan base as well.
Well, that's correct. You got Taves and Kane. You got a recognizable, historic, original 6 franchise going against Alexander Ovechkin. You know, the NHL's copying the same blueprint that the NBA does on Christmas Day. What do you see on Christmas Day with the NBA? All the big
ones,
teams.
all the big boys.
The Bulls, the Heat, the Lakers, so forth. Well, the NHL's doing the same thing. You're going to get the Blackhawks, the Penguins, and the Capitals, maybe the Bruins and the Flyers and the Rangers on this Winter Classic. And I have no problem with it. I want to see the stars. I want to see the best teams in the league.
And you have to see the best teams. You have to see the best teams. This is how the NHL is pulling back their fans after the shortened season of 1995. And it's taken, in my opinion, Mike, it's taken teams like the Kings and the Blackhawks to win Stanley Cups to really pull the fan base back in, because now you're saying, okay, now we're seeing some different teams dominate at different periods of time.
Well, the best thing that happened to the NHL, and I'll argue with this with anybody, was the rebirth of the Blackhawks the second Rocky Wirtz took over.
Yes.
Obviously, drafting Jonathan Toews and Patrick Kane brought the franchise back, but you could see the second that Rocky Wirtz took over, the first thing he did was bring in John McDonough and Jay Blount.
Yep.
That on a historic original 6 franchise that was dormant for way too long.
Exactly.
Really led the revival of the NHL. The Hawks are historic. They're one of the original 6, and it's great. Just enjoying the ride, brother.
Man, who isn't enjoying the ride?
It's fantastic.
Who hasn't been enjoying the ride? And this ride, if you think about it, Mike, started in 2009 with a Western Conference final appearance against the Detroit Red Wings. And we have gone through hell with the Detroit Red Wings on 2 separate occasions. 2009, we may have lost in 5, but we gave them the toughest challenge they ever had before they met the Penguins. And then last year, that 7-game classic that was won in double overtime thanks to a rocket from Brent Seabrook. When you have something like that pulling the fans back into the NHL, the moment, and I'll agree with you, Mike, and I'll argue this also, when Rocky Wirtz took over, so did the Blackhawks.
Well, that's right. They're on par with the Bears in the city of Chicago. And that can't be argued. All you got to do is look at the television ratings, look at the apparel sales.
Yeah.
And it's amazing. You know, Chicago was a hockey town when I grew up. You know, I grew up during the Bobby Hall, Stan Nikita era, even when the home games weren't on television. And it was a hockey town until Walter Payton arrived.
Right.
And now you can argue you see just as many Tays and Kane jerseys as you do Bears jerseys in Chicago, and I think it's great.
I think it's wonderful because I had a chance to hang out with some friends during the playoffs, and I went into a place called Union Park in downtown Chicago, and I think that's where we're going to do our show later this summer. Dude, you talk about a sea of red. I have not seen that many Blackhawk jerseys in a place really getting into it. And a lot of people need to pay attention because not only are these fans getting younger, they're also getting smarter, and they're doing like what we do. They're doing their research with the Blackhawks. They're looking at the teams that they're playing against, and these fans know how to talk hockey. Period.
Well, and the other great thing is, like for instance, when you watch a home game on television, they put the camera on the crowd. What's the one thing you always see is just a new generation of kids.
Yep.
And that's your future generation of fans. And this team has treated us to the last 6 years of unbelievable hockey, and it's going to continue for the foreseeable future. And this fan base is just getting stronger and bigger.
I'm almost afraid to see the enthusiasm, and I'm going to try to go this year, and I'm hoping you can make it a couple of days to the Blackhawks convention. I'm almost afraid to see the enthusiasm this year because I know the fans are going to be thinking the same way the team is thinking, and that is unfinished business.
It is unfinished business because if you stop and think about it, the Stanley Cup final was the Hawks in L.A.
Yes.
I don't think there's any doubt if the Hawks would have gotten to the finals, they would have done the same thing that the Kings did to the Rangers. The Rangers only got there because of Henrik Lundqvist.
That's it. That's
and
it.
Like I said, tomorrow's the start of free agency. The Hawks are up against the cap, but I think they're going to try to make a play on either Jason Spezza or Peter Stastny. I think you're going to see a couple more guys released tomorrow. But they've got plenty of guys in their system. It's time for some of these young kids to step up and fill in some spots.
And they will. And you got to credit Stan Bowman for the job that he's done also with the Blackhawks and helping to put this team together.
Well, yeah, after the salary cap slaughter of 2010, after we won the first cup, he's going to announce tomorrow the signing of Tays and Kane. At least that's what they're saying. Now, hopefully they'll come in around $9.5, $10 million because anything more, we're going to have a hard time filling that second-line center position, which I really do think we need to fill unless Teuvo Teravainen is ready.
Yeah.
So they're in the market for Peter Stastny and Jason Spezza, but they're going to have to unload a few pieces for that to happen. I would look for Johnny Oduya, Sheldon Brookbeg, Michael Roosevelt to be let go here real soon.
Yeah, but as you said, and we talked about it throughout the course of the weekend, the turnover is not going to be A, as heavy, or B, as costly because, like the Kings, the Blackhawks are absolutely loaded, and they're going to be loaded for a long time.
A long time.
I think I lost Mike for a quick second. Mike, you still with me? Oh boy, we just lost Mike. But I'm gonna have to take a break here. Mike Green, thank you very much for joining me. I'm gonna pause and I'm gonna pause for a break for 60 seconds, and then I'm gonna bring Mike Lyle in for the Lyle Files as we talk NBA free agency in 60.
Listen closely. It's the sound of a typical Friday night at your local high school football field. Or a Sunday afternoon at Lucas Oil Stadium. It's the sound of teenagers stretching, growing, developing the skills they need to get the most from life. Or of the Indianapolis Colts chasing another Super Bowl title. Either way, it's the sound of people rallying around the home team and feeling good about themselves and their community. It's more than a typical Friday night at your local high school football field or a Sunday afternoon at Lucas Oil Stadium. It's communities all across Indiana coming together and reaping the benefits of sport. The IHSAA and your Indianapolis Colts bringing communities together. The Indianapolis Colts are proud sponsors of the IHSAA State Football Tournament.
I represent the Excelsior Appliance and Appurtenance Company Incorporated with a complete line of household appliances and is the lady of the house in? What?
Testing. 1, 2. Oh, sorry. You're listening to the Afternoon Locker Room on the Arena Sports Network. Is this thing on?
When something happens in sports that cannot be explained, there's only one man who can tell us.
What the hell's going on out here?
These are the Lyle Files.
Excellent.
These indeed are the Lyle Files as we have our Afternoon Locker Room Express in high gear coming down the stretch. But I had to get this man on. He joins me every Monday. The Lyle Files this week brought to you by LaPorteCountyLife.com. LaPorte County Life, have you heard the good news? As we come to you live from Chicago South Side. Mike Lyle's on the Kukla Cupcakes hotline with me, ready to talk some NBA free agency. What's going on, brother?
Hey, did I miss the train? I heard you said this is the Afternoon Walking Express.
This is. Hey, you're on the Express with me, brother. I had to get you on because I led with this, and I know your thoughts about it, but I want you to say it again and tell it like it is to the real sports fans. That's our identity here. Wade, Bosh, LeBron, all opt out of their contracts. And I'll agree with your opinion, and I want you to expand on this. This is the biggest ploy ever for all of them to get max bucks from Miami. A reunion is going to happen.
Yes. I don't even see why people are going to make a big spectacle of this, because we knew that this was going to happen right after the finals. There was also talk about this during the season, but they were thinking about opting out to get more money now, especially after how they got manhandled by San Antonio earlier this month.
Oh, yeah.
They need to rebuild. Now, what I was also surprised with is they got a draft pick in Shabazz Napier, which they traded from Charlotte to land there in Miami, thanks to LeBron James voucher for him, of course. So they have upgraded with a young point guard like Napier, who is very explosive, and being a UConn fan and having watched him play here in Connecticut, I can tell you that Miami got a nice little draft pick there in Napier. Now, they still have some more work to do, Brian. LeBron, Bosh, and they're all going to come back. Now you got to worry about the other point guards. Especially in Chris Anderson. There's a whole bunch of question marks now with some of these players. You keep Ray Allen, but you look at the players that progressed over the past season, and you see them, and you wonder where they're going to end up. They might be trade based before we have a start of the season, Brian. So don't be surprised if some of those players, like Norris Cole and a whole bunch of others that have not put up any numbers this past season, are on their way out, because they're making more room. They can go out there and sign another good point guard or another good forward to help the team get back to the finals as they did this year.
Two big pieces immediately left Miami after they got dismantled by the Spurs. And these are some pieces you and I have talked about before that were big in their rise to a championship, but now may cause their downfall in their rebuilding stage. I'm talking about Shane Battier, who announced his retirement, and I'm talking about the Birdman, Chris Anderson, who has left. Now, what do you do to replace, if you're Pat Riley, what do you do to replace those two pieces?
You look at the free agent market, because that's just what they're doing now, Brian. This is why LeBron, Wade, and Bosh all opted out, because they're going to now save. Not only are they going to get more money, but they're also going to save money because they're going to get the max deal. The Heat have, I think, $55 million in cap space to work with now, so they can go out and sign wherever they want to sign. There's some rumors that perhaps maybe Kevin Love could be a target. There's other names out there that could possibly be a target. Maybe Paul Gasol. Who knows? There's a bunch of names out there they're looking at right now, Brian. But they're going to find the right people that are going to help this team get back to what they got last year. And if LeBron has any say so in it, which I'm pretty sure he will, regardless of what anyone else thinks, because we all know that LeBron, even though he's not the front office guy, I'm sure he's the one that likes to ultimately make the call. He'll say, I'll take this one, or I'll take this guy. Ultimately, though, it's up in Pat Riley's hands, and I think that was part of the way, with the core, if you will, of why they all opted out, because they know that Riley now needs to make some moves. They're all coming back, but they want some players they can work with that can help them get back to the finals for the fifth time in the last 5-6 years.
Now, I have this. I spotted a story, and I want you to dismantle the daylights out of it. I spotted a story on Yahoo on the way here with the Phoenix Suns being involved to make a pitch that no other team will be able to make a pitch to do. And that is to have LeBron and Carmelo, hold on to your seats for this one, play together. I don't see that one happening at all. I'm sorry. They may have the space, but I don't see it.
Brian, Carmelo Anthony is not going anywhere.
Good.
I could be wrong about this, like I said last week, but I really do not see Carmelo Anthony going anywhere but right there in Manhattan. Because, number one, he's not going to get paid any more money anywhere else but right there with the Knicks. Because he's going to get the max deal, or if he chooses to take a pay cut like he was asked by Phil Jackson to do so,
right,
in order to help save some money to help get some more players, he's still going to come back. Realistically, he has a chance to win in New York, and I'm going to tell you why. Because it may not happen in this coming season, Brian, but the summer of next year, they have the option of going out and saving a lot of money up this after that comes up after this season, the upcoming season, 2014, 2015.
Yes.
Next summer, that is when they're going to be really doing some shopping. So if Ellis has any patience left in his system, they'll wait out, they'll take the max deal, whatever they're going to give him to come back to New York, wait out for the, I mean, who knows? They're probably going to be competitive this upcoming season. They may not want to go all the way to the championship round, of course, but you give them another year, and then you see what they do. And listen, until I trust, because I know he's making the moves. He traded away Tyson Chandler and Raymond Felton because he wanted to make some room to get some new players and to save some money. And they got a couple of Raptors out of that trade, too.
Right.
So Phil's looking at his magic. I think this is all about Carmelo Anthony being patient. I know he's hungry for a championship, but you know you got to crawl before you walk. And right now, he's in a good situation because you got a good president of basketball operations at Phil Jackson, and you have a pretty good player person and Derek Fisher, even though we've never seen him coach, but he does bring a winning attitude to this organization. And that's what the Knicks need, and I think Melo will relish in that opportunity.
Here's the most interesting pick in the draft, and I know I'm going to get a lot of backlash about this. I know I'm going to get a lot of argument about this, but you and I talked about this all the way into the weekend, and you know where I'm going. The most interesting pick in the draft is a fellow by the name of Doug McDermott, who was drafted by Denver, Dougie McBuckets. You better believe it, baby. He was drafted by Denver, but now he is a Bull, and I believe he is going to have one of the biggest impacts this season. And everybody that's a true fan, that's a true Bulls fan, we've had this conversation before, and that do their homework about Dougie McBuckets. You know, I'll begin with this, and I'm going to talk about this on the morning show tomorrow. Everybody that thinks they know basketball want to denounce the fact that he's a defensive liability, that he's a shorter version of Mike Dunleavy. He's a bust. He's got bust written all over him. Never mind the fact that he started 4 years at Creighton, a 3-time All-American, a National Player of the Year, and if he ever needed some advice, his father is a coach.
Well, let's see. All those stats you just mentioned, and yet people are still kind of optimistic, or not optimistic, I should say pessimistic, if you will.
Yes.
Because they're not even giving this guy a chance. He doesn't play one lick of basketball in the Bulls organization, and yet he's already been written off. Are you kidding me? Come on. I know. Listen, we have these talks all the time, Brian.
Yes.
Everybody always judges the guy well. That's the college level. How well can he finish? How well can he relish on the professional level? So
Man.
If I'm the Bulls, I should be doing tap dancer right now if I got Dougie McBuckets and traded it.
Man, I am salivating to see this team.
Any basketball fan would love to have Dougie McBuckets. I wish I was the Knicks guy. Dougie McBuckets of all things. And I'll tell you why, because he still don't know what's going on with this whole Derrick Rose situation.
Right.
He still hasn't gotten that rectified yet. And who knows what kind of Derrick Rose you're going to get next year. If the Bulls are going to get him a healthy one, or if you're going to come back and be sharp after this 4 or 5 games. Now, not the backtrack of Rose, but I'm going to backtrack anyway, and this is what makes this whole Melo Bulls speculation a little more intriguing. And this is one of the talk shows here in Connecticut. It was 97.9 ESPN here in Hartford. They were having a conversation about how Derrick Rose, because Melo was supposed to meet with the Bulls, I think today or tomorrow, and it seems to me that the local reports out there, I'm not sure if you heard this yet, but local reports were saying that Rose wasn't too open-armed about the notion of Carmelo Anthony coming to the Bulls. Which makes you wonder, perhaps Derrick Rose doesn't want another superstar on the team, and that Rose is the man of the team that he wants to be all to himself and not have someone else like Melo on the side. But once again, you'd have to wonder if Derrick Rose comes back. Is he going to be a healthy Rose, or is he going to be another banged-up Rose? So really, in this position, I don't think Rose has much more. It really doesn't have any say-so on this matter, because if the Bulls can get Melo, I still don't think it's going to happen. But if they do, now you got Melo in the mix with Dougie McBuckets.
Man.
Now you got Melo to play the 4, and you got rookies that can move the ball and pretty much do anything you have to them. You got an explosive lineup right there. Is what he has for the Bulls.
There is one player that I compared Doogie McBuckets to, and I made this comparison to 20 people after he was drafted. 18 of those 20 told me I was absolutely crazy. But I know I'm talking to a basketball rat, and you will love this comparison that I'm going to make. And the person that I am comparing Doogie McBuckets to, I don't know, a gentleman by the name of Scottie Pippen comes to mind.
Yeah, because they both have similar characteristics. Their playing ability mirrors each other. And one thing about them, they're both athletic. And they have experience. And they did so. I'm not sure what Scottie Pippen did on the collegiate level, but I know that Doogie McBuckets is coming to the Bulls with a lot of experience. I'm sure any team would want to have his services right now, considering that he's young, he's explosive, you know what he can do. He has a basketball IQ of, who knows, gazillion. Okay? He can be coached. And he certainly can thrive on this level, and I don't see why anyone would be writing him off. Guy didn't even play a lick of NBA action yet, but yet he does have that potential. Listen, if that was the case, then why did the Bulls trade for him in the first place?
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Right.
If you're so pessimistic about Doogie McBuckets, then why did the organization decide to trade up for him?
You know what?
That question. Otherwise, he shouldn't be there.
The fans are pessimistic about Doogie McBuckets. Folks like you and I know what the Bulls are getting. And you asked a very important question concerning the health of Derrick Rose. I will put this thought in your head: a healthy Derrick Rose and Doogie McBuckets running beside him.
And then you also have Joakim Noah out there as well.
Yep.
You got a very explosive Bulls lineup. They're all coming back 100%. Yeah. The Bulls fans like you and be doing just that all season long out there in the Windy City if they can make that happen. But of course, Brian, I'll keep saying this, it all depends on how healthy Derrick Rose is before training camp opens.
Right.
They need him to be 100%. He cannot afford to just miss another season after just coming in just for 3 or 4 games like he did last year. They need him out there on that court. If they're going to compete, Brian, and let's play devil's advocate here. Say they do land Carmelo Anthony. Now you better hope that Derrick Rose is ready for the season, because they have no other alternative but to get him ready. Because if you're going to be realistic, then this is a realistic spot. This is now the Bulls' possible best chance of winning the championship, because now you've got a healthy Rose, you got Carmelo Anthony, you got Joakim Noah, and you got Doogie McBuckets. Okay? You got a Bulls team that was losing, that missed a lot of Rose because they weren't thriving at the point position, but yet he comes back. The Bulls are now one of the top 3 teams in the Eastern Conference if you get all of them on the same team.
You know what? They're one of the top 3 teams now. All right? And I will echo a condition that you've said, and we got to get ready to wrap up here in just a moment. I will echo a condition that you said, and it's very, very true. It all depends on the health of Derrick Rose. Derrick Rose is a young man I have known since his days at Simeon Career Academy. I will tell you this. You are going to be looking at a very angry Derrick Rose when he comes back. That's why you haven't heard a peep out of him, because he is getting ready for this season. Stan Van Gundy gave him a nickname, and I'm going to apply this nickname until he cannot use it, until it doesn't apply to him anymore. The human blur. When the human blur blooms again, everybody in the East better watch out. Y'all going to see not only a healthy Derrick Rose, but an angry Derrick Rose.
But once again, Brian, if those reports from earlier today are true, based on what I heard out here in Connecticut about Rose not being too open on about Carmelo Anthony coming to the organization, well, I think that's where it also starts, too. Not only do you want him to be healthy, but you're also going to want him to be open-minded about certain things, too, because why would he want someone like Carmelo Anthony? A guy that may not play a lot of defense, as we all know, but is a pretty damn good scorer, and he can score in all facets of the game, and he developed a jump shot. So why wouldn't you want to have somebody that can help win the championship?
Man.
These are the things you got to worry about with players. I mean, you got to think that they have to start thinking outside the box. I understand Rose thinks that his last couple of seasons have been pretty rough because he's been banged up. But now it's like you're getting a chance here, my man. You have a chance of winning a championship, and you got a player, an all-star caliber player that can do it all, and yet you're not going to open your arms to get him on the team? That's not a good look for him. I'm sorry to say that.
It's true. It's true. It's not a good look for him, but at the same time, there are still so many questions to be answered, and they'll be answered throughout the course of the summer. Mike Lyle joining me here for the Lyle Files on the Afternoon Locker Room Express here from the South Side. We're getting ready to close up shop and head toward Indiana and get our baseball coverage started. But Mr. Lyle, always a pleasure, my friend. I may have to have you back later in the week when things really start taking off in free agency.
That's right, because July 1st is actually a mere 24 hours, less than 24 hours away. So let the madness begin, my friend.
The madness has already begun, and there's only going to be more of it. Mike Lyle, my friend, thank you very, very much. I appreciate the time.
Hey, stay cool out there. I know it's hot.
Thanks a lot, Mike. Appreciate it.
You got it, man. Take care.
Mike Lyle joining us here on the Lyle Files this afternoon, presented by LaPorteCountyLife.com. LaPorte County Life, have you heard the good news? All this week, I promise we're going to be in Indiana, except Friday, which, of course, is the 4th of July. So we're going to have an undisclosed location where we're going to enjoy some fireworks and some fans and some good company. We hope you enjoy this express edition of the Afternoon Locker Room presented by LaPorteCountyLife.com. Have you heard the good news? We hope to give you some more good news tomorrow. Till then, have a great day. God bless. Remember to make your next move your best move. So long, everybody.